okay?
Perfectly fine.
Yeah, I will try to speak as loudly and as clearly as I can. So I will address certain issues in globalized processes of the world economics. The globalization in the economic sense has grown out to be the process that no longer contains just one global economic center, as we all know, but due to a broader political and economical changes during last decades, there are several economic centers in the world now. Along with this process, we have emerging process. We are witnessing the process of emerging of new regional economic unions. The future of globalization process is definitely in further regionalization of economic processes and close cooperation between regions in the world. I guess that the key information, the key part of the sentence is actually close cooperation between the regions in the world. This is the future of economic globalization. BRICS is working together with the rest of the world to create various alternatives in new economic world, and the part of these processes are taking place in connection to international financial infrastructure. BRICS is creating certain alternatives as to the World Bank Group, including International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, because there is opinion that some issues within this big sphere of international finances can be addressed in more better way that would serve better and more justful development of many countries in the world. So the BRICS and the New Development Bank has started to create, even now, something that we might call a new international financial reality. However, there are still gaps that need to be filled in order to meet demand of more justful economic development of the world, especially developing countries. And one of these gaps is no attention given to the world coordination of regional development banks or regional financial institutions that are investing in international infrastructure projects. There's a specific information that illustrates this this gap until 2040. It is estimated that around 15,000 billions of dollars are going to be needed to be invested in infrastructure projects of developing world. We have now a new Silk Road initiative, as well a Blue Dot initiative. The first one, however, is just focused on securing commercial interest of China, and the other one will have a goal of limiting the option of the first one. There is no, however, more global approach to allocating resources to the infrastructure projects, the approach that would be more comprehensive as to the needs of the entire developing world. BRICS and New Development Bank could become a platform on which coordination of these activities could take place. We should say, however, that there is more directions in the world today from which this change could take place. For example, if we look at this issue from the perspective of development of the international law and the capacities for conducting and change in that regard, then the most experienced partner for conducting this change would be European Union. First of all, coordination of regional development banks would be a massive financial coordination project that would need a new foundation in law, in international law, especially through further and more specialized development of hard and soft law norms of the international financial law as the part of international economic law, which is, as we know, the part of international public law. Furthermore, this process would involve political processes that should produce a coordination of other international regional law systems. European Union, even by the opinion of strong BRICS supporters, already has all necessary experience and knowledge to conduct such change. However, EU is having a great deal of difficulty with union issues and currently is undergoing some changes within. And as with every power in history, and European Union could be considered as a world economic power, it cannot be very influential without if it is not in perfect order within. Besides that, I personally predict that BRICS countries would have more political incentives to create a regional development bank coordination mechanism, and this is a mechanism. It's important for development of development countries, and this idea of stronger and more just development of developing countries is very much present in BRICS vision, and this idea of creating this mechanism is now in the discussion among BRICS experts. So how can this be significant for entrepreneurship, business, innovation in business, even social entrepreneurship? Actually, this kind of investing, namely investing in infrastructure projects, is the foundation for economic development in all areas of economic life of a country or countries or regions. So it has a universal meaning and significance. But especially, and as a conclusion, because this is a very short speech of mine, I will now address to the special opportunities that people in NGO sector could have during these processes. So I will just mention one more time, there is $15,000 billion that is needed in order to meet the needs of developing countries. You can actually find this information in on internet site, the Blue Dot Initiative. This impact, it will take place not just in the sphere of economy, but also in the sphere of social life, culture of the people, and etc. As to NGOs, I think that basically within the BRICS countries, within the developing world, there is a lot of potential to create completely new sphere, new area for NGO projects, where a very special assessment could be made about the influence that these upcoming investments could produce, and what else in the sphere of NGOs could be done in order to meet other needs and to facilitate other great changes in the society, changes that will be somehow joined with with economic changes. So I would like to address to all our young colleagues to think in that direction and to create possibly new reality in NGO sector, because new reality in international finance relations is actually being made right now as we speak. Thank you very much for your attention. Sorry for my English. I know that it is not perfect, but hopefully some other time it will be much better. Thank you one more time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vukanovic, for that presentation. It was brief, but I think it was very insightful in terms of linking finance with the work of civil society within BRICS. Many of the youth represented here come from the civil society sector, so I think they'll take those comments to heart. So moving on with our program, our first speaker that we had to initially pass on from has now joined us. So I would like to call Ms. Pulane Masebe from the South African Department of Small Businesses to make her presentation. And then after that, Dr. Alexandra Moroskina has also requested just to make her presentation. So the coordinators have allowed that just for circumstances. So after Ms. Masebe, we will then have the presentation from Dr. Moroskina. So Ms. Masebe, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Reon, can you upload my presentation, because I sent through my presentation?
Right, I think the technical team will help us with that.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity. My slot was actually at 11. But anyway, I will because I'm not ready yet, as I request you to just upload my presentation. So without wasting more time, I have been requested to present entrepreneurship development within the broader economy. So we are just indicating, I think the first thing to indicate is that entrepreneurship is a multidimensional concept. And therefore, we need to understand the context within which South Africa is located. Maybe if you can't find it, I can try and upload it, Reon. And switch off.
Maybe just get in confirmation from the technical team. So Akhil, do you guys have it on your side?
No, it was sent directly to Reon, but that's why I'm saying there's not a problem. I can try and upload it from my side.
Right, if you can, then that would be great. If not, we can also check on our side. All right, I do have it here, so I can quickly share it. So
okay.
Just give me a
moment. That's fine.
Apologies for the miscommunication, but we should be up in just a moment.
Because as you then I will then stop my video because my internet is not so stable.
I believe this is the correct presentation, Ms. Masebe.
Yeah, this is the correct presentation. Thank you very much for that. Yes, so it is important to understand that entrepreneurship, it's a multidimensional concept, and therefore I would like to zoom specifically on the financing aspect of youth entrepreneurs specifically. If we can just move. So what is important for us to understand is the South African economy as well as the entrepreneurship landscape in South Africa. I'm not gonna, in the interest of time, I'm not gonna go through all these elements, but I think in your spare time, you can just go through this presentation, and I hope the organizing team will be able to share. So it is noted that South Africa economy is under developed economy, but has great potential, as you might be aware, of national access to abundant natural as well as other resources. And I think it is the most industrialized economy on the African continent, and a lead in most of the sectors. We can proceed, because I'm not going to go, as I indicated, in the interest of time. Let's just proceed, because what I want to present is actually the funding mechanisms. But here is just to give you a context. So it is important to. So I think you are very quick. You are very quick. Just go. I will tell you. I will lead you. Just go back.
Right.
The previous slide. Yeah, I think what is also important to understand is that we are responding to and contributing towards the economic reconstruction and recovery plan as unveiled by the President of Republic of South Africa in 2020, which outlined various measures to make sure that we cultivate a pipeline of entrepreneurs to take advantage of the growing sectors, the enterprises, and we will be generating enterprises that are resilient, dynamic, innovative, and has got some agility. So it is within this context that we understand that all the funding mechanisms that the department is trying to conceptualize at this particular moment would actually yield to these aspirations here. We need to make sure that entrepreneurial, young entrepreneurs, they are creative risk takers, and they help to develop an innovative and environmentally sustainable economy. Okay, let's proceed. We are at this point in time receiving technical support from UNCTAD to develop the national strategy, but we are also aware of and acknowledge the opportunities presented by the African Continental Free Trade Area, which has got implications for the expansion and growth of businesses in South Africa. But also what is important is to unlock entrepreneurship potential in South Africa as a response of COVID-19. As you know, that the pandemic has really had an adverse impact, particularly with regard to youth enterprises. We can move. So what I want to pay particular, let's keep this one, to pay particular attention on is the youth develop, yes. Yeah, we can pack here. The Youth Challenge Fund, which is more like a flexible mechanism of funding to support youth enterprises. So the department would not obviously function in isolation, but will definitely implement the programs that you are designing for youth in partnership with our agencies for non-financial as well as financial support, because we realize that many youth-owned enterprises are not investment ready, and therefore we need to provide pre-investment and post-investment support. Let's proceed. Yes, so in South Africa, we have a persistent high youth unemployment rate, and this has been long one being of the pressing. This one. My apologies for that. My apologies for that. Has been one of the pressing socio-economic problems in South Africa, and therefore we realize that we need to have solution for this problem. Youth constitute about 63.4% of the total number of unemployed persons in the country. Let's move. Can we move to the other slide? And therefore, we need to make sure that few existing entrepreneurship programs are not always well tailored to the need of youth entrepreneurs. And therefore, hence, we have designed what we call the Youth Challenge Fund. Okay, let's move. In terms of this particular area, I think what is important to mention is that we realize that access to finance is particularly prevalent during the startup phase between 1 and 3 years, and when entrepreneurs are considered high risk and lack the requisite credit worthiness to obtain adequate financial support. So and as well as the failure rate of youth-owned businesses has driven the department to package solutions for us to be able to respond appropriately. Let's move. So we then commissioned a World Bank mapping study, just a study to map the instruments that support youth entrepreneurship in the country. So we have, the World Bank has analyzed about 43 instruments to determine the nature and the extent of support. Okay, we can move. Okay, let's move, let's skip this one. And therefore, in response to this, the instrument called the Youth Challenge Fund aim to address this significant funding gap, because we realize that the existing instruments are not or cannot adequately address the needs, resulting in very high youth startup failure rate. Let's move. So I am just gonna give you a snippet of the Youth Challenge Fund, because I think the framework would particularly be interesting, because we really need partners for funding or investors or business development support services to make sure that we provide a holistic package to youth enterprises. And so this instrument will enable us as a country to see an increased participation of startup youth-owned businesses participating in the South African economy. Can we move? I think this is a very interesting slide, because what it seeks to address is just to give you a mapping of these funding instruments that are available in the country, and we just did a preliminary analysis. And so we realized that from ideation to startup as well as growth enterprises, what instruments are there and how much money is allocated, and what is the type of support that is offered over and above your financing. And we realize that South Africa, we do not have sort of what we call angel investors to a great extent. We do not have adequate funding instruments for ideation, prototyping, and startup areas. NYDA, I think they presented yesterday, program director. So what they indicated is a suite of offerings which they are providing, but we're saying the funding or the quantum is too little to stimulate economic growth. As South Africa wants to create value in the economy, we really need to make sure that there's adequate funding. I think the maximum amount by NYDA, it's about 250,000 rand, whereas we are bringing a solution that starts from startup at 2 million, and as you grow, you want to scale up, the quantum, the maximum quantum will be 15 million rands provided to youth startup. So let's move. So this was the basis of us to say, let us map and understand what is going on in the landscape. So we have analyzed the NYDA instruments, CIFA, the Industrial Development Corporation, and the technology agency for us to come to this conclusion to say, let's design more a comprehensive package. Can we move? So what I need to emphasize is that basically funding for growth-oriented youth entrepreneurs is split between NYDA and TIA and IDC, but we have to focus on a more blended financing program. However, the support is concentrated around credit, much of which comes from CIFA in terms of the number of instruments. So instead of us just pushing only either a grant or either a credit solution, we need to come up with a blended financing model. That is what the Youth Challenge Fund actually introduces, to say, let's have a blended funding model so that we can sort of have a balanced perspective, and as well entrepreneurs could be committed and be serious business owners for them to be able to retain the credit component. Can we move? So as I indicated that it was found in this preliminary finding, it was found that the share of funding going to youth-owned businesses has declined from 1.6% to 0.88% between 2019 and 2020, which we thought we cannot, because this is not commensurate with the unemployment rate of youth in the country. Can we move? Yeah, so the sectors, which sectors are we supporting? We are supporting these sectors that have been outlined here: information and technology, services, retail sector, agro-processing and agribusiness, creative industries, health and wellness, light manufacturing, energy and renewables. And the light manufacturing is that we want to strengthen the manufacturing capability, because much as the country owns the raw materials, but we do not necessarily engage in value-added products, and therefore we don't create value in the economy. So we want to actually invest in making sure that we strengthen the manufacturing capability. Can we move? But it does not necessarily mean that other sectors won't necessarily be considered. It's just that we are prioritizing those ones. As I indicated, that the Youth Challenge Fund seeks to provide financial and non-financial support. And we have also realized that many youth-owned businesses are not investment ready, and therefore we want to provide an element of business development support to make sure that there's pre-investment support, but not only that, we also have to provide post-investment support. The credit facility will, with interest rates limited to 5%, it's a funding a framework for this one. Can we move? I think I'm about to, can we skip this one? Yes, I want to actually focus on this one. We have, as I indicated, that we have two channels on the Youth Channel Fund. We have the red channel, which is more like your technology intensive businesses. And then the blue channel will be the general businesses. So we are allocating a maximum amount of 2 million for each for startup enterprises, and a growth maximum per enterprise. It's 15 million for each. And we have blended the finance, as I indicated earlier on. However, the budget is split. It's a 30% and a 70% split, with total allocation to the red channel 84.81 million. So for the first phase, we've got about 282 million in total for this funding period, which is ending March 2022. So we'll kind of revise and review the total allocation for the coming years. The reason why I thought it is important for us to present this particular area is that, as I indicated earlier on in my presentation, that we need partnerships, we need partners to invest in this particular program, but also to help us in providing business development support, because we realize that we are investing in emerging areas which we do not necessarily have a adequate capacity or technical ability to exploit opportunities. Hence, we are saying those that have got the technical capabilities, especially in the green economy, ICT sector, it is important that after the presentation, we do engage further and see how can we actually broaden the participation of other players. Can we move? I think it's 2 slides away now. So on the red channel, we are obviously indicating that we are giving the youth technology innovation businesses, and we are looking at about 10 verticals, from fintech to business to robotics and agri-tech, because we realize that even our agricultural sector, we need to invest in technology-driven businesses so that we improve the agricultural sector in general, for food security and other reasons that people are, may be aware of, that we really need to invest in this particular area, which is more technology. And even people, when they do only have ideas, we still want to invest in those ideas, because we realize that many ideas are not being commercialized. So we are assisting youth entrepreneurs and making sure that we've got a support system that could help them to monetize their ideas or commercialize their ideas. Let's move. So we really looking in the blue channel, which is the green, the general one. We're looking from green to education and skills, tourism, health and wellness, and then light manufacturing, agriculture as well, retail, creative, logistics, and transport. So we're looking at the whole ecosystem of delivery within the market to say, let's build the capacity, as I indicated, to create value, not only within the manufacturing space, but also within the services sector, logistics, transport, and so forth. Youth-owned enterprises must have a gainful share in those particular industries. As we are aware, youth-owned enterprises in South Africa are largely concentrated within the services sector, and many of those are really within the informal sector, and therefore we need to diversify. We need to make sure that we create, as I said, dynamic enterprises. I think it's my last slide. Can we move? Let's see. I think it's my last slide, the next one. Can we move to the, let's skip this one, because the qualifying criteria is in line with the national policy. We're supporting youth-owned businesses from 18 to 35 years old, and we can move. Let's proceed. Can we proceed? We'll skip that one. So all the applications, if you are interested in applying for the funding, you need to download an application form from the Department of Small Business website or CIFA website, and submit it to ycf@cifa.org.za. But I think more broadly, what is important for us is that we are also exploring other areas, other flexible mechanisms of supporting youth-owned businesses. And therefore, that's why we have actually submitted a concept document to the EU for a dialogue facility to engage international partners. And we want to explore international business best practice to make sure that we're putting other mechanisms in place, because this is our point of departure. We've just conceptualized the program. The Minister of Small Business has launched this fund on the 18th of November. So it's really at a pilot phase, and therefore we need to engage further to see how do we actually strengthen our funding policy framework. With that, I'd like to thank you and really ask you for further engagement in terms of partnerships and how do we assist other entrepreneurs, even joint ventures from country to country. We could actually possibly look at that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Masebe, for that very insightful presentation. We're very grateful to have you representing the Department of Small Business from South Africa. I think it's very good for our participants to see what the South African government is doing, if maybe their government is doing something similar, or even if they want to partner with small businesses in South Africa who have access to this kind of support. So very, very thank you for that. I think later today when we have the project proposals, I remember that you sat in one of the groups where they were presenting yesterday. I think there are going to be interesting opportunities there that some of our young colleagues should look into in partnering with South African organizations and businesses. To move on to our next speaker on the program, as I mentioned before, just for the sake of time, I'm going to move ahead. So Dr. Alexandra Moroskina will be our next speaker. Dr. Moroskina is the head of the Structural Reform Division at the Economic Expert Group. And she will also be speaking on the topic of support to small and medium-sized businesses in Russia in the era of COVID. So Dr. Moroskina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Reon. I will continue with the theme of SME support, which was so brilliantly started by Ms. Masebe, and I will share the Russian experience. Russia also had a large SME support program, which was expanded last year, since SMEs was one of the key sectors that suffered from the lockdowns. And there are almost 6 million SMEs in Russia, 96% of which are micro enterprises, so they're very, very small. They account for more than 1/5 of Russian GDP and about 18% of non-commodity export. Of course, we're talking about non-commodity export because the commodity export has a large share. SMEs play an important role in the labor market in Russia also. They provide more than 15 million jobs, including 7.5 million employees in micro enterprises, which are, as I've said, almost 96% of all the SMEs. So SMEs were largely affected by the COVID-19 crisis and the lockdowns. Estimates show the preliminary, of course, estimates show a decline in turnover around 11%. However, the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor shows only a slight decline in total early stage entrepreneurial activity rate. This is the percentage of the adults which are actively engaged in starting or running a new business. So there are different estimates, and until we see the final estimates, we cannot say anything in particular. But we can definitely say that SMEs was largely affected. So SME sector is characterized by the large regional disparity in Russia. 31 of SMEs are concentrated in the Central Federal District and almost 20% in Volga Federal Districts. About the SME support program, the key government program aimed at development of SMEs is the national project. The national project is called Small and Medium-Sized Businesses and Support of Individual Entrepreneurship Initiatives, and it was launched in 2018. And in particular, it consists of several federal projects, and the main federal project is acceleration of small and medium enterprises, which accounts for more than 3/4 of total financing of this national project. All measures contained in this government program may be grouped into the several main categories. The first is the soft loans for SMEs. The second is guarantees and warranties by the government. Then there are some fiscal measures, including reduction of social contributions, which are very large in Russian businesses, and several tax subsidies. Then it is soft leasing and support for export. Apart from that, the government actively develops infrastructure for SMEs support, which are those structural reforms which I'm concerned about. And it includes digital platform and single window for all the SMEs, and it is access to public procurement and procurement of key large companies. So it's the development of some environment for SMEs. First, soft loans. The key program, which was introduced in 2018, also with the national project, provides for subsidized interest rates. Started from 2021, the subsidized interest rate is calculated as the key interest rate plus 2.75 percentage points, which gives a final rate of about 10%. But it's lower than the average interest, non-concessional interest rate for SMEs. Second soft loans program was launched especially for the COVID-19 support. It's a part of a job retention loan program. It was launched in June 2020 and has been prolonged until April 2021, and it's no longer available. So it was in force for 1.5 years, but it was an exceptionally soft loans. The loans were provided with the interest rate of about 2%. It was fully written off if the receiving business, if the receiving SME retains 90% of its employees. Second direction is guarantees. Corporation for SMEs, it's the central institution in Russia for support of SMEs. It provides guarantees for SMEs loans in partner banks, which in the previous years allowed more than 22,000 SMEs to receive loans, which they otherwise wouldn't receive, and provide almost 50,000 new jobs. In 2021, we introduced a new mechanism of so-called umbrella guarantees. So corporation provides some limits of guarantees for the banks, and banks for themselves develop a portfolio of corresponding loans of SMEs. The next measure was the deferral of for payment of taxes other than VAT, value-added tax for small and medium-sized businesses for 6 months. And this measure was in force until the December last year. A number of measures were introduced to eliminate administrative burden on SMEs. The 6 months moratorium was introduced on creditor applications for bankruptcy of companies and the collection of debts. A moratorium on all on-site inspections, including tax and customs checks. So it was in force until June 2020, together with a ban on tax sanctions for the failure to submit documents due to the lockdowns. Support for leasing is an important part of a national project for SMEs. In order to increase support, SMEs Corporation, which provides this support, plans to increase the number of products and increase the number of regional offices to widen this support. Then the support for export, which is executed not by SMEs Corporation, which was mentioned in the support programs before, but the Russian Expert Center. And in 2019, it developed so-called box services for typical SMEs situations on each stage of SMEs development of its expert operations, including different kinds of insurance and expert loans. So as a result of these measures, it is expected that the number of SMEs will increase by almost 2 million by 2024, and expenditures on these measures amount to almost $2 billion. To conclude, all of the BRICS countries at some point last year experienced deteriorating macroeconomic conditions. To combat potential crises, each country introduced fiscal measures that were the forefront warriors in the fight against the pandemic. Almost all countries across the globe introduced different measures, including the infrastructure investment mentioned by Mr. Vukanovic and SME support, which was described in Russia by myself and in South Africa by Ms. Masebe. And there were other different measures. And all of these measures in different scope help to avoid a deeper recession. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Morskina, for your inputs. I think it's very insightful to learn more about how the different BRICS countries have handled the pandemic and have tried to help small and medium businesses. We do hope that this will give some policy insight into the future of continuing these policies. I would now just like to recognize that we are slightly behind schedule on the program. I think personally it's just not enough time has been allocated to this very important topic. So we'll make a point of that for future. But I'd like to move then to our next speaker, which is Mr. Sachidanand Swami, who is the founder and CEO of Invoxel Technologies, who will be speaking on the topic of the Indian government's support for businesses and for foreign businesses particularly. So, Mr. Swami, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone. Yeah, hope everyone can hear me now, right?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
So good afternoon from India, New Delhi. So now the winter is coming here, but I'm fascinating that to be the part of various culture here, the BRICS and the BRICS Plus. So from my background, what I started, what I fan of the entrepreneurship, why the startup of culture in India is really popular, how we really can collaborate. So these are the three questions which I'm trying to answer in this talk. So I started a company at my campus. So one of the important part, how we can utilize the background of our academics, where we studied, where we even can do a lots of the research. So 2011, when it was the time to take a decision to start a company, I came back to the campus. So I am from one of the premium institute at Delhi. It's called IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. One of the IITs in India, as we have many good IITs at India now. So IIT is a campus where you can do a lots of intellectual work. So the one key position here in India is your academic schools, colleges, where you can start the kind of early stage ideation for your entrepreneurship journey. And the early stage entrepreneurship journey is not very comfortable, because you need to start with the less resources, where you need to start with the kind of only just idea you have in your hand. So you need everything from outside. So the campuses are the best places to start the company. So I came back to the campus. I started with the early stage faculty members with whom I collaborated with, start working around the research, where they always welcome the intellectual people to work with them and convert the early stage product. So the good part in India is entrepreneurship is a very good, very high time. When you want to start a startup, even the youngest would like to collaborate to you. So the ecosystem in India is very warm to the startup. or maybe setting up a business here in India. So even like you go to the even the good cafes there, you will find the like good youngsters or the good technocrats or like good intellectuals are working on the smart ideas. So that kind of the environment is there in India. So very first key thing how we can collaborate to the Indian ecosystem is the good part is you try to find out a good co-founder who is who may be the maybe can from the either from the university or very like young professional who is ready to buy your idea that okay I am ready to be the co-founder of yours. So and like coming to the university, they always encourage their previous student, like alumni from the university, and they always try to support it from the different grants. Like in IITs, there is always a grant from the Department of Science and Technology. There is a grant from the healthcare departments because they want to make up a ecosystem of the good healthcare in country. There is a probably like good grant from the different ministry, but the key part is where you are incubated at. So that is a very important key factor at different campuses here in India. So when I want to start a company, I need to collaborate with the faculty member. I need to apply for the early stage grant so that we can make a good prototype. So once the team is ready, the prototype is ready, probably the things is going to be the much smoother than the only just have an idea in your head. And the second important part is looking towards the market. So India is a very populated country, which look like, oh, India is a very populated country. And then the smiling part is again is also the same. Oh, India is a good populated country and we have that much population, which is the market for us. So that's even the very positive part of everything. So I always say when we talk about the surrounding youngsters, why India? Because it's the ecosystem here in India. The boom is here in India. The people are very pro to the businesses as well as the faith in the youngsters, including the government. They have a very good faith in the youngsters. Recently, we was able to work with the government here in the Ministry of Culture. So they always encourage like, okay, you have an idea, you want to do something, you really have a clear plan in your mind and you want to execute it now. So the ecosystem is always ready for even inviting foreign partners to come with the Indian collaborator. So that is a very key thing here in campuses, in like ecosystem, in government. So that is the like key part of the ecosystem here. And the most important part, this is the time of the globalization. When we look towards the assets, so probably you will get a very good engineers here in India at very early stage, like you even can make a prototype in the few months, probably in the few weeks. So the ecosystem is going to support you from the assets which we have is the good IT power. When we look towards the globalization, probably something which you have in your country, which you are like good at and you really want to build a team. So you really can see which part is missing in your team and you can create it here in India and register a company here in India with your co-founders. So that is the advantage of the cross-boundary ecosystem. Probably you can build a product here and you can sell the product here there in your country, which even the Make in India is the very good initiative here by the government. So you can get the good ecosystem from the government side under the umbrella of Make here in India and supply to the globe, which is the very aggressively even promoted by the government of India to the global citizens, to the global partners, to the global manufacturers, or maybe the global intellectuals. Most important part, which is we always miss at what will be the future at, which I will always like to focus on. Emerging technologies. So emerging technologies is not can be the center of the one part of the country or maybe the one country. It always comes from the globalization of the countries, the partnership of the countries. So the people are very friendly here in terms of the partnership, in terms of like coming forward, in terms of like doing a good collaboration. They are very good at. So even in my experience, I am the lucky one, at least to travel to the like Russia the multiple time. And I feel personally like Moscow is like same as the Delhi to me, because I have the right friends, I have the right discussionable people, probably I have the right mentors even there. When I look towards the different country, even I'm looking toward the more countries same like it. So when we even look towards the like business in the different country, or maybe the collaboration in the different country, so there is always a gap is called cultural gap, which even we feel how we know about the another country much better than the another. So probably that is the like the gap is the cultural gap. So we need to collaborate on the behalf of these cultural acceptance in the businesses, cultural acceptance in the behavior, cultural acceptance in like adaptive of the nature of the different ecosystem. So this is the very like third thing I always follow when I look towards the nature of the collaboration we look towards. Uh, why the cooperation is important from the side of like India, because this is the market which we are trying to cater with. Maybe the like in next coming years you will find the most youngest people in the country is from India, and where you even find the people are very much good at talking to each other. Sometimes they are not coming out, probably not like thinking about. So this is not the case here. When we even try to think about the people, can we really collaborate? They will always come with a very good cultural heritage, or maybe the cultural values, and they would always like to come forward to have a discussion towards like, okay, can we do the business together? Can we ideate it together? So that is a very good way. So the friend of mine is there, like Akil Muhammad. I met him at very early stage here in India, and we started looking towards like bigger collaboration, bigger thoughts, how we even can collaborate to even the come up with the different ideas, either in the culture, or either in the business domain, or maybe in the another IT domain. So very early stage, it was always a hesitation from the side of like inner concepts. Can we do that? Can we go to another country? And it will always help you when you look towards the different country and the opportunities and the cultural boundaries. So that I always say towards the cultural values is going to help you to connect them better and interact them better and collaborate them better. So that's my view towards like going towards the opportunity in terms of like setting up international companies, or maybe the international startup at early stage. I'll take a very good example towards India and the Russia relation, which I have with two friends of mine, Tatiana Silverostova and Alexey Ezhov. So we met at 2014 at very early stage, when we even like thinking about the idea, can we collaborate to each other? And today we are in a very strengthful stage that we even can have a very good cultural acceptance, as well as the like growth acceptance to each other. We are very much ready to partner to each other because we understand each other well. So other than the opportunity, how you understand the like other countries' culture is important here. So these are the few things which I always say towards like going towards the opportunity here in India. What the offering from the India is the intellectual power, and from the ecosystem, most of the even the like right investors here are in India when you are looking towards the scale towards the globe. So that is the very third thing here, is the availability of the capital here in India. So intellectual power is there, the youth power is there, and the like capital is here in India. And from the government side, they are very much like motivated to invite the youngsters to set up the good business here in India. So that is the kind of the ecosystem we have here at the like Indian ecosystem. And I'll not take much of the time, but I will be happy if there is some question around it, and I can answer the few of them if directly here, or maybe in the personal capacity of mine. I'll be happy to even answer those. So I'll open the platform to the, like, if there is a question around here.
Thank you, Mr. Swami. I think I would encourage participants to put their questions in the chat, and then perhaps if the speakers are able to communicate via chat, that would help, just for the sake of time. But thank you so much for that insightful presentation on the environment for businesses in India. Just a slight comment on the program, colleagues. So you'll remember that Mr. Alexey Ezhov was in the previous panel, but due to technical issues, he was not able to make his presentation. And so the coordination team moved him to this panel. So what I would like to just for the sake of time to request is that his presentation be next. However, we would also like to respect the other speakers who have been allocated their time. So if there are any of the other speakers who have a urgent need to do their presentation, then we would like to respect that. But if possible, and they can allow Mr. Ezhov to make his presentation, that would be great. So are there any queries on this? I'm not seeing any message in the chat or any unmuted panelists.
Yes, I would like, if I can get a slot just after Alexey, that will be fine.
All right, I believe that the slot after Alexey, according to the program that we have now, would be Ivan. So Ivan Shchedrov. So if I can maybe ask Mr. Shchedrov if that would be fine with you, or if you would like to keep your slot.
Yes, it will be fine with me.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so then we will have Mr. Alexey Ezhov presenting now, after him, Dr. Raman, and then after that, Mr. Shchedrov. So Mr. Ezhov, the floor is yours.
Thank you, dear speakers. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for giving me the floor for this presentation. Could you please open my presentation on the this Zoom session? I mean, I sent it to the chat, presentation of RCBA, so it could be very helpful for understanding. In fact, I will be short than 10 minutes because my very good friend, Mr. Sachidanand Swami, told about everything of good cooperation and friendship between of our organizations and between of our personalities. So thank you. Let's move for the second slide, please. I'd like to represent you some special project of non-profit organization, NGO in Russia, which name is Leaders of International Cooperation. So we registered it in January 2021. So we are just like startup in NGO sphere, and we are the really modest young organization in BRICS++ area. So, but in fact, we make it by the team finalist of the All Russian competition, Leaders of International Cooperation, it's same name, competition. So which held by Federal Agency of for Youth Affairs, Rosmolodezh named it. So in this direction, we start some few projects in humanitarian sphere, economic sphere, supporting entrepreneurs, and of course we had a lot of experience how to make an acceleration program that was named Russian Chinese Youth Business Incubator, which we established 5 years ago, and now we develop a next step of that brilliant program to make the next step as Russian Chinese Business Accelerator. So this program is very significant for entrepreneurs who wants to make links, some connections, some relations between of two countries and between entrepreneurs and business from other country. Please, next slide. Thank you. So aims of the project is some few things. First of all, it's networking, it's education program, mentoring and mentors, work with experts, contact with manufacturing and plants, launching sales, marketplaces. You know that China opened huge marketplaces like Ozon, but names is Alibaba or AliExpress and other things. Is really expand the globe. So it's hugest one, and it's not just open foreign markets for Chinese entrepreneurs, but also open Chinese in-ear market for foreigners to sell some products there. So one of the most significant things is to provide this information and this structure working for our entrepreneurs. And of course, we make special education lessons like for how to work with investment fund, in China. So, and how to connect it. So next slide, please. So we gave some few opportunities for members of or residency of business incubators. I will repeat some most important things is networking, like this forum aimed for, and other forums. It's first of all networking, because links could rule your life, even you don't expect how it could be, but it's very important. Even we, Mr. Swami and I, we met each other some like in 2013 years. So it was like unexpected meeting, because no one understand what Invoxel with the head of Mr. Swami will do, what we will do next year. So, but now we are friends. Now we have planned together, and now we work a little bit in some Russian-Indian relations. I mean, why it's a little bit? Because we have no big structure and have no experience how to do that. I mean, not big experience, but some few. Hard and soft skills, industrial partners, sale, market, and investment partners. So it's very important for both sides of this project, or multilateral sides. If we will talk about our previous experience, how to make acceleration for BRICS country. Last year, we also established one program like that, business accelerator between all the 5 BRICS countries. So I suppose here also stay with us some members of that program. So next slide, please. We focus on, first of all, we focus on selection, how to select the right entrepreneurs, because, you know, we don't want to have some like business tourism, or produce it, or making some not high equipped entrepreneurs. Of course, our program is free of any charge for members of that program. We don't want to have anything from, I mean, some payment, some fee from members of this program. But of course, we should understand what is this project for, what is the equipment of this team of this project, what is the experience, what are they thinking on. So it's like selection divides on 2 or 3 steps. First steps, of course, we look for application form, some few one, short application form. Next step is making some video, and we and show to our experts video about the project. And the third step is Zoom calling and some short discussion with experts and future members of this program. So that's how we make a selection. Next slide, please. Acceleration also divides on 4 stages. So due to COVID-19, we all have have no good opportunities for making all the program offline. Just we need to involve our online program, so or make it like both online and offline. So first 2 stages is going online, knowledge through video. I mean, we prepare some video course for our members about culture, about science, what is now the position of this country, what is now the position of this region, how to have cooperation and other important things, but which could be shared with our members by online courses, by video, by online products. So 3rd and 4th stage is meeting in Russia and meeting in China. For of course, it couldn't be like now bilateral program due to COVID-19, because of COVID-19, because China have zero tolerance for COVID-19, and any people, foreigners or Chinese who would like to come to China, they should stay they must stay, for 3 weeks in some lockdown places. So, and make several tests, I mean PCR tests, and so it's it's not possible to make this program now. But we have a strong connection between some Russian companies and Russian members and Chinese members. So previously I told you about that we have very close relations with Chinese government, All China Youth Federation, and of course Ministry of Commerce of China. So nowadays we provide some opportunities between Chinese and Russian entrepreneurs online. But of course we have not just planned, but we already had a meeting in Russia with Russian startups, Russian company, and at that time we invited some Chinese experts and Indian experts for showing some new opportunities for Russian members of this program this year. So next slide, please. This is a knowledge, what is the direction or what is the topics we shared with members. So please, next slide. I already sent the presentation to chat, so you could download it and use it if you'd like to. So you would have enough time for have a understanding, to make understanding of this presentation. Sorry. So, and most important thing is post-acceleration stage. So we not close our program for no any time. So when acceleration program is run out, we choose members who would like to continue their work with our team and with Chinese team. So we make some guideline for post-acceleration program for like individual, independently for all members who want it. So like that it works. Next slide, please. This is our key partner in Russia. So also you could use our platform, Leaders of International Cooperation, as the platform who could share your contact and share opportunity which you present to us, to other partners in Russia. So it's all Russian Student Union, all Russian organization of small and medium entrepreneurship, Opora of Russia, Opora России. Of course, it's a government organization like Rosmolodezh, Россотрудничество, and Россия страна возможностей. You could also Google it in open space of internet and find some websites or social media in English or in Russian language. So it's open, but we also can like provide you to contact with our Russian partners. So I think it's it's important for making a new links. So next slide, and the last slide will be our contact. Thank you for all of you. Thank you for organizer of BRICS Plus Forum, Mr. Akil. You gave me a best opportunity to make one more speech in English this year. It was very hurry, and maybe I made a lot of mistake in this, but nevertheless, I sent you a presentation, and you could look at this, and maybe ask me a question privately by our accounts on social media, or by the letter welcome .leaders, not dot, how it's named, Sabaka, you know, it's welcomeleadersteam.org. So thank you for all, and I will continue to stay here and answer a question in chat. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for giving me my floor. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Mr. Ezhov. Thank you for that insightful presentation. As I mentioned before, we are a bit behind time, so I would encourage the speakers to remain mindful of that. But at the same time, we want to give our participants the full experience of the work that everyone's doing and the insight. So we don't want to rush anybody, because at the end, this is supposed to be a beneficial platform for our participants and our youth leaders. So I would like then to move on to Dr. Rahman based on the revised program. And then after that, we will go to our next speaker. And then we will have two more speakers after that, and then we will end the platform. So Dr. Rahman, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So with the due respect and the permission of the organizers, International Youth Forum, particularly Mr. Akil Muhammad, President, Asian Students Association, Rudin University, the moderator, Reon, Deputy Director of International Relations, South African BRICS Youth Association, my friend Miss Anita, if she's there, and all other fellow presenters and respected participants. It's quite an honor for me to be interacting with you today and presenting a few bullet points. Thank you, Ivan, for giving me the floor a bit earlier. Because of my scheduled lectures in the department, I had to leave. And I'll be cutting short my speech just for the sake of the BRICS Plus this session so that everybody gets the time and you wind up in the specific time period. My topic, which I had given, was the e-entrepreneurship in BRICS countries, understanding the digital and hub economy dynamics. When we talk about entrepreneurship, we need to incorporate the changing scenario of the world, the dynamics which is prevailing in the world right now. One of the issues which needs to be understood by all the BRICSologists, people who are doing research on BRICS or who are from BRICS countries, obviously these two are different quadrants. One, people who are living in BRICS and people who are doing research on BRICS, these two are different quadrants because the point of view of seeing things is quite different. As a BRICS researcher, we should all accept the fact that there are disparities among BRICS countries. There are social disparities, there are economic disparities, even there are political disparities. But this disparity, we as a group are taking it as a diversity. But this disparity is very important for us to devise plans and to understand what kind of implication it is going to have on any aspect, whether it is economic aspect or political or social aspect. With this specific understanding of the diversity and disparity, it is important to understand the e-entrepreneurship which is now prevailing in BRICS countries or which we will see in the future. The social disruption and the technological disruption which is coming into the BRICS countries, it will create 5 types of issues that needs to be tackled, and the future entrepreneurs or the present entrepreneurs who are into launching their projects on e-platform or they are interested in doing their marketing in the form of internet, and obviously these are things which now everybody is doing. It is important for them to understand these 5 issues. Not only it is just for the youth, it is also for people who doesn't fall under this time frame, people who are entrepreneurs, who have passed the age of 32, 35, whatever you consider. If you take according to International Labour Organization, I think 37, 38, beyond 37, 38, you consider somebody not to be a youth. But entrepreneurs are considered obviously to be the youth with their heart. So the point is that if they also have people dependent, because if you see, particularly I'll give the example of India. In India, there is a culture of dependency. People are dependent in a family. And therefore, entrepreneurship of old people is also very important because there are young people who are dependent on that entrepreneurial projects. So I have identified 5, and I will cut short my speech and very specifically I'll talk about these 5 things. The first one is the digital literacy. The digital literacy is a point which we all should focus on, because e-entrepreneurship cannot become a reality, particularly if you understand the philosophy of BRICS to reform the current international economic environment. We cannot reform the current international economic environment without digital literacy. And therefore, entrepreneurs, whether it is social entrepreneurs or economic entrepreneurs, they should always focus on having some kind of auxiliary efforts to promote digital literacy. This is first. And in digital literacy, again, all the BRICS countries, they vary in their statistics. The second is internet penetration. We also differ in internet penetration when it comes to BRICS countries. In India's statistics is different, China's statistics is different. So this kind of disparity is also there. And even if you see the prices of internet bandwidth, which people are availing, the average prices of the bandwidth are also quite different, even if you compare in terms of purchase power parity. So the wide difference between these prices is also an indicator that this disparity should be minimized. Diversity should be maintained. The diversity means that there should be multiple companies, therefore multiple options to the consumer should be there, but that should be minimized. The third one is I have combined these two. The second one was internet penetration and third one, the bandwidth allocation. So I combined these two in my comments. The third one is the social media activism. Social media is a very profound tool, and this is the tool of hub economy as well. Because apart from the international hubs like Amazon, Alibaba, and those kind of hubs, we have now social media becoming a hub of the economy. Instagram and other things, they are becoming the hubs where people can show their art, show their product, show their skills and services, and they can directly offer to the consumer. So it's becoming a new kind of economy. It's a new hub. Now, evaluating the positives and the negatives of this hub is very important. Also, access to social media. Everybody has the access to the social media, but everybody is not having the accessories or the resources required to be into social media for all of the time. Particularly if you talk about India and even South Africa, there are people who are not yet ready to be on social media because they do not have mobile access, they do not have access to other things like profiles, and not even if now people have started translating it, language is also a barrier which is now reduced, but this also needs to be considered. Also social media, from a political point of view, social media has also a very important tool, so that should be considered. And the last one is that digital payment systems. The digital payment systems, they provide a backbone for e-entrepreneurship, because readily transferring of the payments, not just from within a country, but within 2 or more countries is very important. Already we have seen some work is going on BRICS inter-settlement measures, but at a massive scale, inter-settlement measures is not there. For example, just for the sake of example, if I take Yandex shopping marketing, Yandex, which is an app of the at Russian Federation, if I want to purchase something from Yandex, and that should be a ready transfer, not from cards and all, but from other wallets and all, it's not available right now. So BRICS needs to develop such kind of inter-country settlement as well. I think these are sufficient points which I would have elaborated, but just for the sake of time, I've just summarized, and I hope then that I have completed it within the stipulated time period. If there is any specific question, I would answer and then leave. Thank you so much, Reon and Yvonne, for giving me floor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mann, for those very key points that you've raised. Very quick, and I imagine that if there are any questions, colleagues will ask you in the chat if they need any clarification, but thank you for your interventions into this platform. I think I'm just going to move ahead. We would have ended the session now, but as I mentioned before, we're a bit behind program. So we have one more speaker. There is another speaker after that, but it's not clear whether they are present with us yet. So the communications team is following up on that. If they do not join us, then Mr. Ivan Shchedrov will be our final speaker. So just to introduce Mr. Ivan Shchedrov, and I would also like to thank him for allowing Dr. Raman to take his slot just for the sake of time, very kind of him. So he is a junior research fellow at the National Research Institute of World Economy and International Relations. And as you can see on the screen, he will be presenting on smart cities in India's social and economic development agenda. So Mr. Shchedrov, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you for such an opportunity. So Mr. Sachidanand was speaking about an ecosystem in India, and from my perspective, smart cities can be considered as a key pillar of this ecosystem for inter-BRICS cooperation or cooperation or inter-business cooperation, so on and so forth. So from the beginning of the century, India has presented itself as one of the pioneers of the digital transformation of the global south. Attribute of social and economic developments is the active advancement of information and communication technologies, digital infrastructure, microelectronics or semiconductor production. This development path is incorporated into the government initiatives such as Make in India, Digital India, Startup India, and Atmanirbhar Bharat, which means self-reliant India, and of course, Smart Cities mission. On these slides, I will talk about an economic growth as a background for for the development of smart cities mission. Despite the economic slowdown, which dates back to 16-17 financial year and exacerbated by the pandemic, India has India's economic growth shows signs of recovery. As a matter of fact, this tendency strictly correlates with macroeconomic trends. India is to become the third largest economy by 2030, and in the long term, the share in the world's economy will soar up to 15% by 2050. The second economic background I want to emphasize is a tendency of urbanization. The government of India estimates that only 31% of the population is urban, but according to the recent researches, the statistics is rather questionable. Nevertheless, India demonstrates a steady growth rate of urban population. It's more than 2% per year, and the data suggests that the country with more than 100 million urban dwellers will rank first in terms of urban population by 2015. These trends, combined with the gradual transition to the path of innovative development within the framework of Industry 4.0, are transmuting smart cities into the capitals of digital economy. So briefly, an overview about Smart Cities mission is one of them. It is the main mission in India, which was launched in 2015 and involves construction and modernization of 100 towns and cities, which are home to more than 1/3 of the country's urban population. The total population of these cities is estimated to be 130 million people. And these projects cost $32 billion and was scheduled to be completed by 2 years ago, but since been extended. About half of this sum is expenditures of the central and state governments. And important, this initiative implies two vectors of implementation. It is area-based development. In one city, specified areas are chosen for redevelopment, retrofitting, greenfields development. And the second one is pan-city development. Systems are implemented throughout the larger areas. There are more than 6,000 projects, and about half of them are completed. You can on this slide you can see an overview of smart city sector-wise investments, and I want to proceed on different aspects of this sector-wise investment. For example, as you can see, ecology have the large share in this diagram. The economists estimate that 1.7 million people died from air pollution-related illnesses in India in 2019. So pollution reduced life expectancy in the region by 9 years, and in general, the country's government plans to concentration of substances by 20 or 30% by 2024. 2 years ago, the National Clean Air Program was launched, and which aims to reduce emissions in 122 cities by 30%. These all action plans include measures to expand monitoring networks, to reduce transport, industrial emissions, and so on and so forth. Several of these cities have established integrated command and control centers, which that measure air quality by connecting to a single air quality monitoring system. Nowadays, there is a tendency to implement a hybrid approach, which provides an opportunity to catch data from different sources. So reducing pollution in industrial clusters is planned through intelligent energy management, and currently, it is worth mentioning that there is a shortage of continuous monitoring stations. India needs to install 4,000 such stations, but 2,400 are planned by 2024. The Indian government is also striving to increase the share of non-fossil fuel electricity production. And according to the news, 40% rate is already achieved. Yet the government is also, from the other perspective, is also faced with the task to increase the share of manufacturing sector up to 25%. One of the largest industrial clusters is Delhi-Mumbai, covers 6 states with a population more than 170 million people. Smart cities. Next, I want to proceed on the question of spatial dimension of the smart cities, and the largest number of projects is concentrated in states of Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Gujarat. And the least number of projects is concentrated in the northeast of India. For example, in Karnataka, there are more than 800 tenders issued, and in Manipur, only 7. In most states and union territories, about 28, less than 50% of all planned works are completed. Moreover, at the municipal level, in 61 out of 100 cities, less than 40% of projects have been implemented. On this slide, you can see the state's urban population coverage indexed by completed projects. And this slide shows the total cost of projects in relation to the state's urban population. As you can see, these 2 slides hardly correlate. And this, in view of the foregoing, I assume that there is a territorial disproportion in the development of the program. And next, good example of implementation of different smart city technologies, Internet of Things, command centers, and so on and so forth, is a case of Indore. There are about 277 project tenders are issued there, and it is the highest number in India. And this city ranks 3rd in the rank of highest percentage of projects completed, more than 80%, and the 2nd in rating in highest utilization of funds by percentage. Infrastructure development in this city takes place in accordance with advanced technologies and standards in several areas. It's water supply, it's sewerage, social infrastructure, solid waste management, water systems, and traffic management systems. In addition, as I have already mentioned, in this city, an integrated command control center was implemented, and it is assumed will receive data from municipal services in real time and will become the brain, so-called brain of traffic management, city services, disaster response. And currently, the local government is also working on different projects. For example, it's intelligent traffic control system, GIS data platform, effective management of wastewater treatment plants, and so on and so forth. And what are the opportunities for cooperation? Due to the fact, yes, there is a cornucopia of challenges in implementation of the initiatives. It is quite typical for Russia, it's quite typical for other BRICS countries, but these problems are data analysis, data protection, lack of coordination, problems with funding. Some scientists suggest that impacts of funds released by Indian government is very low. Moreover, the effectiveness of the program can hardly be calculated due to the fact that some federal and state initiatives are intertwined. Notwithstanding that, international megatrends, discourse, economic development of the emerging economies necessitate the enhancement of multidimensional cooperation between the global south or BRICS countries. In the context of developing economies, in the context of urban population growth, it can become, smart cities can become one of the key factors of development. This is also driven by the fact that smart cities have become an indispensable element of the country's soft power. So my suggestions are that we need to create a single platform, integrated platform or market for data and experience exchanges. It's necessary to put on agenda the design and implementation of joint projects in these fields within the BRICS states. And moreover, we need to, since smart cities are a factor and an incentive for economic advancement, it is vitally necessary to increase multidimensional cooperation in related areas. For example, a promising option for cooperation between Russia and India will be investment in production of electronic systems, taking into account the lower level of utilization of the production of electronic components and need to integrate in international product chains in the field. And investment in different industrial corridors, for example, Delhi-Mumbai, which also important for energy balance of India, industrial sector, and also smart cities solutions. Thank you for an opportunity. I'm ready for your questions, if there are any.
Thank you, Mr. Shchedrov, for your inputs on urbanization. I see there are some points and questions in the chat. Perhaps if colleagues can share their questions there, because we are reaching the end of the session, then Mr. Shchedrov will be able to answer there. I just want to check with the program coordinator if there will be time made for the Q&A, just given the program's progression and being a bit late. So Akil, is there going to be provision for that, or would we move to end the session?
Maybe we could have 2-3 questions if there are, and then we can go for a break.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. All right, so we now have 3 questions. I think I'm going to limit it to that. So we'll ask our 3 questions. You can direct it specifically to the speakers that are still with us. So please be specific in who your question is addressed to, and then they will have a minute or 2 to respond to those clarifying questions. So if anybody would like to ask a question, please use the raise hand function so that I can see who would like to ask a question. All right, so I'm just going to name the 3 people. So first we have Falguni, next we have Victoria. Anybody else who would like to ask a question? 1 more spot left. Speak now, forever hold your peace. All right, so we just have our 2 questions. So I think let's go with Falguni first, and then after that, Victoria, you can ask your question. So Falguni, the floor is yours.
Hello, actually, I don't want to ask a question. I just want to conclude 2 things. In India, we already make cleanest village, which is in Meghalaya, Pulane, and we already make Udaitaru village, which is located near Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu.
Right, thank you. Thank you for that comment, Falguni. Victoria, question or comment from your side?
Yes, I'm not sure if everybody can hear me.
We can.
We can hear you.
My question is directed to Ms. Pulane Masebe from the South African Small Business Development. Because with yesterday, she made a reference of what the NYDA was presenting yesterday about funding. And one thing that I picked up from the NYDA is that they only fund businesses that are located in South Africa by South Africans. So my question to Ms. Masebe is, with the small business development, how are they planning on supporting small businesses that are not run in South Africa, but say particularly they are run by South Africans that are not in South Africa? Do they have any plan on how they will be able to assist young entrepreneurs that are not within the borders of South Africa, but they do qualify to actually be funded to run their businesses elsewhere?
Thank you for your question. Ms. Masebe, did you get that question?
Yes, I did get the question. Thank you very much for the question.
All right, you can go ahead. I don't think we have any other questions, so you can go ahead to answer that question.
All right. Thank you very much for the question. I think it broadens our horizons a bit, because our thinking was that, yes, we want to support South African companies operating internationally. However, I indicated in my earlier input to say that this is a pilot program, and obviously we are testing it. And we will definitely consider those enterprises, as long as a person or the owner is a South African citizen, that are actually operating internationally. They will be considered. And I know that we don't have a tighter systems and processes in place, but we are looking at tightening those. And perhaps if she has a company and she's interested, she's not in South Africa, it will be a good pilot project for the department. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masebe. I believe that you can also use the private chat, Victoria, if you want to reach out to Ms. Masebe, as she's mentioned. The South African BRICS Youth Association, of course, would also be happy to assist in facilitating those connections. There's one slot left, because we said we'd take 3 questions. So I don't know if there are any other burning questions that came up as our colleagues were sharing. So anyone, please use the raise hand function. All right, I'm not seeing any hands. So with that, we will then bring an end to this session on entrepreneurship, business, and innovation. I think it was personally a very engaging session, a lot of engaging topics that were covered. As you know, the next session in the program will be the project pitches. So I hope that our colleagues who are going to be pitching projects have taken note of all the opportunities and all the different avenues presented at this specific panel. Just as I wrap up, I would also like to take the opportunity to invite anyone who would like to partner with the South African BRICS Youth Association. I'm sharing the information in the chat. I think there's opportunities to engage colleagues who would like to engage with South African youth or vice versa. With that, I will then bring the session to an end. I'm just going to hand over briefly to the coordinator, Akil, if there are any comments that the coordination team would like to make about the program for the last session. But that will be all from me. Thank you so much for your participation.
I guess Victoria has a question. Victoria, you may ask.
She already gave her question.
Ask my question.
Your hand is still raised, so you can raise down your hand, then it will be okay. Thank you.
Yes, I realized I raised down my hand now. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Then we will have a short break, and then we will go for project presentations. So it will be going to be very interesting, and see you guys after a break. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you too.